Well, aloha. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Paul Fletcher, and this is The Healing Source. So, I'm very excited for today's podcast. We're getting close to wrapping up this series on manifestation of finances and success. This will be the sixth in the seventh. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. This is the sixth in a total of seven uh, parts in this series. Next week, we're going to do a wrap up, okay, put it all together. And in this series, I have covered some very, very important fundamental aspects to creating great success in your finances and in your flourishing. So if you are new, seeing this for the very first time, make sure you go back and watch the previous 5 episodes. You can do that by going to my website, wellspringoflight.com, and just click on podcasts and you'll find it right away. And if you're new to the entire concept of Tao healing, Tao wisdom, any of the teachings and wisdoms to bring forth health, wellness, and happiness in your life, then you should go back to the beginning of my podcast and listen to at least the first 3 in that. It sets a solid foundation for all the different teachings that I offer in these podcasts. I cover emotions, wellness, health, relationships, a lot of different aspects that I cover in the earlier episodes. Today, I'm going to be focusing on a very unique and very rarely talked about aspect of manifestation with your success and your prosperity. And it has to do with how we define everything that we witness, everything that happens in our physical life, everything that we witness, everything that we see, hear, everything that we smell. All of our 5 senses are defined. And today I'm going to talk about how those definitions can affect either positively or negatively your success, your prosperity, your manifestations. Okay? So it's a very unique and interesting subject. And so that's what you can expect today. For those that have not attended the previous 5 sessions, I covered what is the root cause of financial, business, and success problems. The next week, about 4 weeks ago, I covered the 7 daily spiritual practices to transform your financial, business, and success problems. Then I covered the Tao of creation and manifestation of wealth and success. And in that teaching, on the 3rd teaching, I shared my teacher, Master Sha's chart on creation and reverse creation. And I tied that wisdom into manifestation and success. In the 4th week in this series, I spoke about the past and the future and its effects on your manifestation. Last week, very interesting week, I spoke about dimensions and time and the relationships of dimensions and time to your manifestations and success. And today, I am focusing on how our definitions of what we see, smell, hear, touch, taste, we define all of these a certain way through the lenses of our rose-colored glasses. And that definition will also affect your manifestation and success. Next week, I'm going to put them all together, okay? So very exciting times. Welcome, Charlene. Welcome, Maureen. Welcome, Linda. Welcome, everybody else who has joined me today. So let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? When you stop and think about it, how do we define anything? If we are born into a family that says green people are amazing, you could always trust a green person. But orange people, never trust an orange person. Then that is the definition that we hear. That is the definition we believe. When we smell poop or a septic tank, We define that as, oh, God, disgusting. That's our definition. Literally, when I was in Korea and I smelled the trash can and the stink of the outside in the alley, I had an amazing smile on my face. I was overjoyed to smell it. I could smell the kimchi being made in the restaurant upstairs. And in that moment, when I was smiling and overjoyed, it was because I could smell in that moment. Prior to that moment, and 99.9% of my life, my sense of smelling, my olfactory senses had been greatly diminished. But in that moment, my sinuses were working, my smell was working. So I had a joyful reaction in response to smell. My definition of this stinky alley was, thank God. Other people's definition of something stinky is, usually not that kind of response. Our definitions of relationships affect our manifestation. Our definitions of money affects our finances and success. Our definitions of time affects our finances and success. Our definitions of the source and my relationship to the source affects my finances and success. My definition of my own worth and value affects my finances and success. My teacher, first time I saw him do this, which is about 15 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, water was spilled on the stage. The audience, 400 or 500 people. You know what his definition of that event was? Wonderful! Financial blessings. I had never heard that before. I would bet that nobody in the audience had ever heard that before. Why am I telling you this? His definition of spilled water was entirely different of the other 500 people in the room. It was a terrible thing. But because of his definition that spilling water creates financial success, everybody in the room that had great alignment to that teacher started adopting that same definition. So guess what happened every time they spilled water? They changed a previously negative perception to a positive perception. Now, it goes so much deeper than that. So much deeper. When I was in Thailand recently, I was practicing this exact understanding. And the reason I'm bringing this up is it ties into everything you and I already know about manifestation. We know, applying it is different, but we know that when we focus on something, the propensity of that something we're focusing on happening is very high. That's why we have a lot of unpleasant things happening in our life. Health, problems with our money, whatever it might be. Because we focus on fear or worry or concern, and therefore that's what happens. So we know that. So we do our best to focus on more positive things, right? You're doing your best. I'm doing my best. But the definition of everything impacts the outcome. So a typical day, we wake up, maybe we wake up late. We define that as a bad thing. So then we go into the kitchen and we burn the toast. We define that as a bad thing because we're rushing now because we're behind time. And then we're in traffic on the way to work, so we could be late. So we define that as a bad thing, and we bring more worry and fear into that day. Then we arrive at work late, and we're 100% sure the boss is going to yell at us. And of course they do, because we were 100% sure of it. Then we go throughout the day, a little bit off throughout the entire day. Maybe you have a little acid indigestion. Maybe you go to go get your favorite food downstairs at your deli, but there's a really long line because you couldn't get there in a timely manner because somebody called you and asked you to do a chore at the office and you didn't get it done in time. And so now you're in this very long line and you're complaining and the person next to you is complaining. Look at how you're defining that day. Well, that's normal, Paul. That's just how anybody would react and respond, right? I mean, if you're late, of course you're going to be a little upset. And if you're in traffic, of course you're going to be a little upset. And of course you're going to think ABC is the big lie. It's the big lie. You and I are programmed from birth to think the way other people have taught us to think. What do you think television is? Since 2014, in America, the administration legally allows the news to give you propaganda. So you actually don't know what's true and what's not true. So our definitions can be altered, changed, manipulated. Everything is what we allow in our perception. How we define the stinky alley, how we define water spilling, how we define a child screaming, how we define the day that we're walking through and the moment that we're walking through absolutely affects everything. Going back to Thailand. When I was there, I was blessed to be in a car. Every other day we'd take a little trip, get out of the little village I was in. I decided that every time I saw a banana tree, it meant money was coming into my life, a specific amount of money. The smaller the tree, it was only worth 500. The bigger the tree, it was worth 1,000. And the mind could say, yeah, right. You can think that all you want, but it's not going to come. But the laws of manifestation are immutable. What you focus on is what you receive. The only thing that gets in the way of the receiving is you and your negative information. So maybe you have some negative information from previous lifetimes that have affected your ability to have positive, but maybe you don't. Maybe it's just you not having the right positive mindsets. And our definitions affect that. You can change anything to be a positive. There is nothing you cannot make a positive if that's what you decide. You can get up in the morning late and go, awesome! Somehow, this is going to cause me to have a positive benefit today. I don't know what it is. It's going to be interesting to find out. And on your way to work, you're still late. And instead of freaking out and going into, oh my God, my boss is going to do ABC, you say, how awesome is this? Even the traffic is backed up. Neat. This is going to be fun to see how this one blesses me and benefits me. And then when you arrive to work late, you find out that your boss was also late because he was in the same traffic. So he doesn't even know you're late, and it didn't really matter. So how much stress did you save yourself there because you had the right energy? Okay. And it's, my boss was not even here on time either. And still, I don't even know how this is going to positively benefit me. And you go through the day and you go to that same deli and the person in front of you pays your bill because he's doing a pay it forward. You're like, how awesome is that? Positive energy coming my way. Everything you react and respond to, the way you react and respond to your day is predefined by what you have accepted as your truth. You can change that. I can't, but you can. And all it requires is you to have an intention to change everything to somehow serving you. I'll repeat this differently. We all, shouldn't say we all, but the vast majority of us want success and prosperity. We want that golden nugget at the end of the rainbow. We want that bright, shiny house and the white picket fence. We want that beautiful, wonderful relationship. We want A, B, C. But we don't know how it's going to happen. We just know it hasn't happened yet. Dang it. Because we're not paying attention to our energy and what we bring into the manifestation. If which I've already talked about earlier in the previous sessions, if we know what we want and we're clear enough what we want, we don't have to know how it's going to happen. Be clear on that. I talked about this earlier. If you missed it, go back and watch it. You do not have to know how you're going to have that success, how you're going to heal from that health condition. You don't have to know how you're going to find that love of your life. You don't have to know how you're going to have the great financial or business success. You don't have to know how. That is a definition issue. That is a definition that says I have to do A, B, C to get D. That is not true. That is what you have been told, but it is not true. What is true is you need to be clear on what it is you want, and you need to apply emotion and excitement to what it is you want as if it is already complete, and you let go of the control of how it's going to get there. And between the time it arrives and this moment, your role and your job is to assist everything to not get in the way of that happening, including your mindsets, attitudes, and beliefs, and to pay attention to your definitions. So we go back to the day when we wake up late. Awesome. I have no idea how this is going to help me to have this career path I've chosen where I'm hired and get paid this much, and I have my white picket fence and a lovely husband or wife, but I just know it's going to. And on your way to work, when you're stuck in traffic, awesome. I don't know how. It's no different, honestly, it's no different than the water spilled. Oh my God, says 500 people. One person says financial blessings. But because that one person had great respect and admiration by those 500 people, instantly they believed him. Now, there's no truth or not truth to it. What makes it true? Because he's a master? Because he said so? Because I said so. It's because you say so is what makes it true. That's what made it true. If he said it and you said, I don't believe it, guess what would happen when you spilled water next? If you didn't believe it, you would not have financial blessings. But if you did believe it, you would. So it's always about what you believe and how you define things. And it's no different than when you bring this attitude to every moment in your life. We fill our life with so much fear, worry, concern, complaining. ABC happened. Therefore, this must be the end result. Negative, negative, negative. Why? Because somebody taught me that, so it must be true. Why? Because I've accepted that as true, so it must be true. It's not. You and I and all humanities, possibly all souls, I don't know the rules for those outside of this earth, but I do believe and know that the rules are we are creators. We are co-creators of our reality. Whatever we accept as true is true. We're so busy controlling that we fail to understand that the source is what we are living in. I am within Tao. Tao is within me. I swim within the source swims within me. I am the fish in the ocean is in me. It's in my cells, my gills, my everything, and I swim in that ocean. You cannot be separate from source because source is not separate from you. You are one with the source. In other words, you are not allowing the source to deliver to you what you want because you're too busy defining and controlling. You don't even realize you're defining because you've been taught it your whole life. You don't even realize you are defining because you're defaulting to whatever you've been taught. If you've been taught water spilling means financial blessings and you believe it, congratulations. If you've been taught every time a bird poops on your shoulder, it's good luck. How many of you have heard that one? Right? You can define what you believe. So my encouragement to you is to start being purposeful and conscientious. Here's how it will look. I'll remind you again. Step 1, write it down. Spend 15 minutes every day. Get clear on your desired end result. Do not worry about how it will happen. Choose something that your mind will not have disagreement with. If you believe your desired end result is $10 million, but every part of you says, no, not going to happen. It's kind of hard to get from here to there. Choose something that's more plausible that you can accept. I believe that $1,000 more a month can find me. I truly believe that. I need it. I want it. I desire it. That's what I believe. You don't have any resistance? Great. That's where you go. Relationship. I believe I deserve true love. I've waited my whole life. I deserve that. Okay, great. That's where you go. That's step 1. Choose something that's plausible, believable, that you don't have to know how you're going to get there. Choose that. Step 2. Spend in that 15 minutes emotion. Emotion. That feels so good to be with the love of my life. We're doing this, we're doing that. They give me a massage. We talk, we trust. There's love, there's respect. Yada, yada, yada. If it's money, that extra 1,000. Oh, this bill's paid, that bill's paid. It feels so good. Oh my God, I love this extra money. It just makes my life so much easier. And you bathe in that relief. Okay? Success in your business, see yourself, giving everybody handshakes and everybody patting you on the back saying, amazing success. I'm so happy for you. Your parents, your peers, everybody saying, wow, you're doing great. And bathe in that emotion. That's step 2. Okay? Step 3. Pay attention to your definitions. Let's do a step before 3 and 4. Okay? So in between 3. So you have this default, right? You have this this thing you do 15 minutes every day. But now you're going through your day and you have you open your mailbox and there's a $300 bill. And you go, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Oh my God, how am I going to do that? Okay. Remember, you define, is that bill a positive or a negative? You are also, the minute you go into oh my gods, you are moving into control. You're moving into an unpleasant emotion. So define what that bill means. Awesome. I know that every time I get a bill, I did this also when I was in Thailand. Every time I get a bill, every time I pay that, twice the amount of money comes to me. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know that every time I spend money on anything, a coffee, every time I spend money on a friend, every time I spend money on gas, magically, heaven just brings me twice the amount. It's just awesome. And it's easy to go into that mental emotional space. It might take a little practice, but you've now converted that automatic pre-programmed negative response to something positive because you defined it differently. You gave it a different definition. And you can do that with absolutely anything that might trigger that negativity. Relationship, right? You're going through the old pictures of the old one that left you, the one that got away, and you're in your heartfelt pain space. I'm so grateful because this one, obviously, they didn't want me. If you want to release pain in your heart about an ex, someone that you love, felt, they didn't want you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have left. You can have a list of all the positives and all the negatives, but ultimately they didn't want you. Therefore, they didn't deserve you. And they left space for the right one to come to you. I am redefining what I've been taught. It wasn't about anything about me. They didn't want me, so I don't really want them. I want somebody who wants me. Since they didn't want me, that's not my problem. Somebody else out there does. They actually did me a favor. Who wants to spend the rest of life with somebody who doesn't want me? Excellent, thank you. Throw away those pictures, burn those pictures. Much easier to move on. You could say, every time I see a rose, that's one step closer to the love of my life coming to me. Every time I hear a bird chirp, every time, there's another one. My love is coming closer to me. There's another one. My love is coming closer to me. Doesn't that feel better than, whoa, Which one do you want? How do you want to define your experiences? You are in control of it, unless you default to everybody else's beliefs that you have chosen to accept. So follow those steps. When something pops up in the day, which invariably it does, catch yourself and don't go down that default road. See it. Remember your positive visualization, the positive thing you chose. Remember those emotions and take that event that you've predefined as negative and redefine it as positive and pop back into that positive experience. And by doing this consistently throughout your day, throughout your next week, throughout your month, you will bring forth some or all of what you've requested. And the sum or all is simply dependent upon how much time did you put into that emotion? How much time did you put into that defaulting to something more positive? How much time did you put into focusing on the negative, right? Now, the thing about this, I have told you nothing that isn't common sense and of value to you. The dilemma is we are so programmed to react and respond a certain way, and the negative information on our field tends to mess with us a certain way. So we need to be consistent. We need to love ourselves enough to be consistent. For some of us, that's putting those things on all of our mirrors, our refrigerators, and our doors. Turn everything into a positive. Everything, my mantra is everything is, what's the word I use? Everything is conspiring to serve my desires. Doesn't matter what it is. Everything is conspiring to serve my desires. Now, it's so fun to play with that. It's so fun to work with that and hold on to that. And when something happens, you say, coffee spilled in my lap. That's awesome. Somehow this is bringing forth what I've requested. And I go back into my positive emotion and see that thing coming. Heaven, when you let go of the control of how you're going to get something, when you let go of the control, heaven will bring to you what your desired focus is in very strange ways. Much faster than you could ever do it on your own through your control mechanisms. Much, much, much faster. And when it comes heaven's way, it could look negative. You might be asking for $1 million and actually believe you're going to get it, and you get fired. Oh my God. Ah. The one that is awake and aware says, wow, that was seriously unexpected. And yeah, I do have to be, a little more tight with my money between here and there. But obviously, this is positioning me to have that $1 million. Something's going to open up and I'll have the time for it. Or maybe I can't get it from this job and something different will pop up and the right people, and then I can have that. Amazing. Or you could just wallow in pain for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 months. Heaven will bring to you things in ways that you do not expect. Have no attachment to how things happen. Define anything that might be shocking as heaven is helping me to get to where I need to be. That's letting go of control. That's letting heaven do their job. That is positive manifestation. That is defining your experiences to get the end result that you desire. Okay. Great to see you here, David, Linda, Kat, Hutton, Eloa. Great to see everybody here. Those that came in late, you missed some good gems at the beginning. Make sure you go back and watch this. This is number 6 in the 7 series. We'll do a wrap up next week. Make sure you go to my website, wellspringoflight.com. Sign up for the podcast there. There's so much wisdom in these podcasts, priceless. If you need healing, contact me. I do services. I do excellent consultations. Check the Akashic records. Really good at what I do. Got a membership program, gives you healing every day, every day, every day. I do healing for you every day. Who has time to heal themselves every day? I do it for you. And I do practices 5 times a week. I even give you a consult as part of the membership. It's an amazing package. Go check it out. wellspringoflight.com. So happy that I could be the one to deliver this information. I will finish by saying it's a marathon, not a race. It's a very high probability you'll fall off the horse 5 times a week, meaning you'll forget and default into some form of negativity. You pull your bootstraps up, pull your big boy pants on, put your baseball hat back on your head, get back on the horse, and drop back into that positive emotion. Keep redefining, keep changing, okay? Got to remember, we're trying to reverse a lifetime of wrong information. And we're trying to reverse a lifetimes of negative information karma. And that just takes persistency, consciousness, and love for yourself. You can do it. We have no doubt. Okay? So until next week, have an awesome day. Bye-bye, everybody.